I'm very well today. I'm very excited actually. Today on this show.
Ball of energy coming
Yes,
into the studio.
I know. I am early for that. But most people know that I'm a morning person. But yeah, I'm excited today because we're going to discuss a passion of mine, yoga. So, if you're driving to work or you're maybe driving home, I want you to just have a little think about what comes to mind when you think of yoga. Laura, give us a little idea here.
Okay, there's a stereotypical when people think yoga and they think kind of hippie.
Yeah.
But then you also have celebrities in mind.
Yeah.
And there's like a mix. And, I always think like core strength and stuff like that.
Yeah, it actually fascinates me how many people, people say to me, what do you do? And I say, a yoga instructor. I get different responses depending on the person. But most people have this sort of meditative picture in their head.
I see like a bearded man wearing like a little coloured shorts of some kind out of cloth.
That sounds nice. Interesting. But people tend to have this meditative, it's slow, it's very easy, quite boring kind of idea. But like you said, there's also the whole power yoga from LA, and Jennifer Aniston does this with her body and she does yoga all the time, and so it's trying to find a common ground. If you're listening and you just want to know more about what on earth is yoga, then I want to try and shed a bit of light onto that today and maybe get you a bit interested in it as well. So first of all, effectively, yoga is a generic term, a bit like cardio. Okay, so cardio can be running, it can be cycling, it can be swimming. What one person likes cardio-wise, another person might not. And yoga is very much like that. Like I said, it's a generic term for physical, mental, and spiritual practices, which originated in ancient India. So that's where it came from. And because it came from a long time ago, we're talking 4000 BC, you can imagine in today's society it's changed somewhat.
Yeah.
So try just to picture that it's not one particular thing. It can be a huge range of things to different people. So it's effectively a lifestyle practice that, if you really enjoy yoga, you can actually enjoy it all of your life. It's not going to affect your body that you can only do it short term. I actually love how Laura shared a photo with me on my Facebook page. You can check it out if you like. And it's a 90-year-old woman doing yoga. She's actually the world's oldest yoga teacher. She's in Australia. She's awesome. She's
rocking it. She was hardcore.
She was holding a crow pose, a very difficult pose. You can Google that. Good on the arms. But, so if you think about yoga, let's just discuss, what does yoga mean? It's actually a Sanskrit word and it means union. So you might want to ask yourself, okay, well, what are we uniting? So that can really be up to you. It can be said that we're, uniting our bodies with our minds. We are uniting ourselves with all of existence, or something more spiritual. Ourselves with our creator, something like that. So it's really entirely up to you. And, many sort of Indian yogis or really hardcore yogis, they feel that practice makes you feel whole and, it liberates you and frees you from sort of the burden and shackles that we have today in society, to feel a certain way, to look a certain way, and to be a certain way. So when you really get into yoga, you can sometimes just forget about everything else. These things don't matter to you anymore. And you lose that feeling of pressure. So that's what's quite nice about yoga that's different from maybe other forms of exercise. It's
probably where the hippie idea comes from as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I guess if the right words are thrown around in the wrong way, it can come out very hippie-ish.
Yeah. And because it is so generic, you could go to yoga class. And I've seen this actually, this really annoys me. Yoga class on a poster. But what type of yoga? Like, I know there's hundreds of types of yoga. But if you don't know that, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go. And you have no idea what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
And you could be really scared off of that. You could be thinking that was terrible. It was either really hard, because there are some yoga classes that are difficult, or it could have been so boring that it just wasn't for you. So this is something that, the yoga community, we're trying to educate people to understand that it's not one thing. It's a lot of different things. But, going back to, if you do get into yoga and you practice it, I personally feel that you can really connect with your own body and your own mind more than you can with other exercise. If I was to cycle all day long, I personally don't feel that it would have the same effect on my mind, my body connection as with yoga. And I'll get to that why. Another thing that people tend to think of is they think of yoga as being very female dominated. most yoga classes actually do have, I think 9 out of 10 are women that attend them. But the ironic thing is that yoga was predominantly a male exercise.
It would have been probably back once upon a time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, going back to ancient India, it was actually only the elite that practiced yoga. You had to be high up, normally royal, to have the time, back in those days, who had the time to sit? And these people were doing yoga for like hours on end. So it used to be, the privileged, and it would be men only. And they were very strict that no women could do this. And again, through time, with geography, yoga started to spread. And actually, we can thank, it was an American expat that taught it to his wife. Her name was Blanche DeVries. And she decided I think it was 1932, no, I'm teaching this to women. So she opened a studio in New York, and since then
it's just grown and grown.
And she was the one who actually took it to Hollywood. And so I think we can thank her for it becoming quite a kitsch thing in celebrities that are doing this, has sort of powered it on a little bit, people to try it anyway. And I mean, now, back in even like the 60s, it was quite hippie-ish, but now there's DVDs. It's quite cool now to do yoga. It's on trend, and it's getting much better rep anyway.
Definitely. And all the different varieties. Like, it's kind of just the understanding of yoga is going further.
Yeah. So I mean, even to try and describe to you what it is difficult in itself. Like I've said, I've tried to explain that it's generic. It's not one thing to one person, it is another. And my certain belief is, when you come to my class or any class, even if you practice on your own, just be with your mat. People laugh at me. I'm like, my mat is my soul mat. Like, I love my mat, and I don't want to change it. But when we look at the mat, it's sometimes like a mirror of ourselves, and how we feel can be portrayed in your class. If you've had a bad day, often you can't hold balances because you're frustrated, you're not happy. If you've had a good day, you feel you can do well in the class. And often how you tackle the exercise, how you tackle things in your life. Now I sound hippie-ish, but that's kind of an understanding. Once you do yoga for a while, you'll get exactly what I mean. But you might be thinking, okay, I'm going to give this a go, but I don't know where to start. You're saying there's all these different styles of yoga. So what style is for me? That would really depend, first of all, what your capabilities are and what you're looking for. Yoga can be from the basic of meditative yoga, where you can spend a whole hour meditating, through to something that there's a word you might have heard called hatha. Hatha yoga is the original yoga, and every limb of yoga comes from that. So we do poses, which we called asanas. That's what we call them. So everyone, I'm sure, has heard of a downward dog. It's a very common asana that we use. So hatha is used in every class, but it might be used in a different way. So a power yoga class is also called ashtanga, and power yoga is effectively yoga with brawn. It's these poses done in a hard way. So you get a cardio workout, you work up a sweat. I love it. It doesn't, it's not slow and meditative.
Yeah.
So this is why when some people say to me, gosh, you do yoga, isn't that really boring? I'm like, I'd love to see you come and try this, but there's definitely yoga for everyone. There's hot yoga, Bikram.
Yeah, I've heard that with Lady Gaga.
Oh, yes. It's, I actually quite like it. It's a 90-minute class. It follows the same format. It's 90 minutes, and you do 26 poses, the same every time. It doesn't change. Now, the reason it's called Bikram is the creator. His name is Bikram Chowdhury. So yoga, I can go and create my own yoga because I'm a qualified yoga instructor.
Go and do the
so I could go
class.
and make up my own one if I wanted. And that's why, through time, it has diversified.
Okay.
It's not just stayed to be one thing. But, you might think, okay, right. For me, then, I'm going to give the slow yoga a go. Okay, I'm going to give that a go. So in Doha, of course, you can find places to do this, or you can do it on your own, or I can do it with you. But you might want to think, okay, but what would be the benefit of me doing yoga? Why would I do it? So can you think of any benefits you've experienced from it?
Oh, increased strength, balance, concentration.
Yeah. I guess everyone's yoga journey is different. That's what we always say. So if you're listening and you're thinking, okay, I want to give this a try, but I'm just not flexible enough. There's no way I can bend into all these things. You don't have to be flexible. Like I've said before, yoga is for everyone. You can start with very little flexibility and slowly build that up. Same with your stamina. There's something for everyone there. So most people do associate yoga with being flexible, and they'll think, okay, that's a benefit. Absolutely. Your flexibility, if you practice for 8 weeks, 3 times a week, your flexibility will increase 35%. So the other benefits obviously include your posture, which is something that, if you're looking to lose weight, if you have nice posture, you can appear slimmer, which is nice. And with posture, of course, comes a nice spine. So if you're having some lower back problems or aches, having the correct alignment of your spine is something that yoga can really teach you, and just to hold yourself in a better manner. Yoga's not competitive, by the way. Let me just say that. It's not a competitive sport. It's not going to be in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And you should only be focusing. I go to classes and I have no idea who's around me because I'm just thinking about me. And that's what it should be about. However, when you're on your mat and you're trying to hold a balance, it's wonderful when you can hold it longer and longer. You see yourself improve. So, of course, with that comes sharpened concentration. Your focus is on that. So that's really good for the neurons in your brain. You're helping that. And that improves your mood as well. Just being more alert improves that. And, yoga is also good for your libido. And we spoke about metabolism before. Good for that because, of course, it's exercise. When we do some of the poses, apart from obviously helping the body, it can actually help the organs. So some of the twists that we do are detoxifying because they massage the kidneys when you twist. So it's good for digestion, getting rid of any toxins that, you just want to flush through your system. And, yoga has also been proven to help people with infertility and some menstrual, relief. And you spoke about that you feel that your strength has improved quite a lot because you're holding your own weight sometimes, that's really impressive. Your body can do that. And it's actually been proven that, after a class, you're 12% stronger sometimes, which is pretty cool. You can feel that strength.
Yeah.
So everyone who thinks yoga is really, really easy, I'd like you to try and hold.
Yeah, it's true.
Try to
It's a
hold some of these poses.
Challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. But,
Come and show us.
show us exactly how long you can hold one of these headstands for. You'll be dizzy. But, apart from the common flexibility benefit, people always associate yoga, and so they should, with stress relief and peace of mind. And it has been proven numerous times that people who practice yoga are a lot more thankful and happier, I suppose, than those who maybe don't. So it's good to give it a chance. And if you're listening and you are interested in learning more about yoga, there's so many books and things you can read. But you can hop onto Yoga Journal, is the sort of main body for us yogis, and that website has got some really nice sequences, some challenges, videos that you can give it a go and see.
Something for everyone, and that really is the case with yoga. So
it is, and it's like I said, I'm trying to just promote that it's just not one thing. Try to get that into your head, and you'll be much more accepting of it, and you probably give it a try, and you might be shocked how unflexible you are, and it might encourage you to become more flexible.
Do more. Yeah, exactly. Reach a goal and push for it.
It might, and at the end of every class, we always have this little mantra. Well, I do in my class anyway, and I always say, the spirit in me salutes the spirit in you. Basically means we're all equal. Namaste.